The Indiana Fever many fans is still poking fingers at head coach Stephanie White for actually making the game not entertaining anymore, bro. This motion offense has to be addressed, and Stephanie White has to be held accountable because it's truly the offense that she's running, and it is not for Caitlin Clark at this point. Now, both Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White spoke to the media immediately after this game.
You'll have to see it to believe what really happened behind the scenes, because this isn't your normal press conference. No, this is unfiltered Caitlin, and let's just say that people are in complete shock. Take some popcorn. Just Caitlin Clark revealed her health in a very honest way, and she didn't hold back on Stephanie White. Did it have shade? Was that accurate? Was it encased in a jump shot? Colt, was it served?
At times we could have played a little bit faster, and I think that's on me, like not conceding to that. We still got to play up tempo. We still got to play fast. But I mean, I thought for the most part we did a lot of stuff that coach wanted us to do, and that wasn't why we lost.
I can't hold you, man. That kind of looked like she let that slip out, man. I don't know. But I mean, we all see it. When they play slow, it's just not a good team, man. They're not as good as we see that they could be, right? So they need to play fast, man. I think, they don't necessarily look that good when they're playing half-court ball. Maybe taking something from the Valkyries, man. The Valkyries run, all right? They be running.
Despite the WNBA putting every barrier in her way, she seems worn out and spiritually dehydrated but not fatigued. Similar to an altered American Ninja Warrior. However, with even inferior coaches and officials, coffee, fumes, and unwavering determination are Caitlin Clark's means of subsistence. This woman navigates landmines, forgetting about the hardwood. Since everyone is there, the league must look out for Caitlin, not because she deserves special treatment. To observe, everyone is eager to see Caitlin Clark perform. Additionally, if you allow other groups and individuals to outperform you, of her, she will be sidelined for 2 weeks due to an injury, and your attendance will decline as people won't get the opportunity to see her. Additionally, if you genuinely wish to receive the same compensation as the NBA players, you must safeguard her for revenue proportion rather than genuine dollar for dollar. She must be performing at her highest level and not be getting kicked out. She has been the face of ticket sales and hope growth. However, the referees now consider her to be a tackling dummy because she has become their favorite chew toy. This is now a full-fledged experimental science rather than merely missed calls project in which referees evaluate how many unlawful screens and shoulder bumps can a player endure before going insane. The Las Vegas Aces triumphed over the Indiana Fever 89-81, and many fans were disappointed by this game, not just because it appeared to be the Fever had this one in the bag, but at the end of the game, they kind of gave it away. Additionally, because it appeared to. This Fever team had a problem. They lacked the spark and vitality that we are all familiar with. Love. Many admirers want to know what's going on. The whistles are now wind instruments that only play. The rulebook suddenly appears to be a chaotic choose-your-own-adventure book when she is the one acting. It keeps playing if someone sneezes on her, but it's a flagrant and a 5 game if she breathes near someone. Suspension. I believe I have the answer to the Indiana Fever's issues. Listen to me, please. Listen to me, we must take this action. Caitlin Clark has to be taken off the ball. We must execute a motion offense. Therefore, we have other players who can still function when the defense takes away Caitlin Clark's strengths. Therefore, we're not totally doomed when she plays poorly. That, in my opinion, is the finest method to proceed with this Indiana Fever squad. Physicality is not morally acceptable and is prohibited. Suspicious, we might need to look into the muggings that have occurred with less contact thus far. If brass knuckles are taped beneath the wristbands of some of these defenders. Furthermore, what are the league's passive-aggressive Instagram postings that pretend nothing is wrong, or worse, response crickets? Is incorrect, and let's not even discuss Indiana, while its brightest talent is dismissed as inconsequential. The ambience in the locker room feels like haunting group therapy. The environment is dark, and the vibrations are odd. Session supported by broken drains and Gatorade. Caitlin appears to have joined a brand composed solely of IKEA furniture is fragile, shaky, and challenging to put together. You would assume that Indiana would Instead of hosting an extravagant celebration for a generational talent, they handed her a paper towel and pointed her in the direction of a leaky faucet. While her teammates are playing hungry, she is trying to play for D-chess. Hungry hippos, there's no structure, no direction, just vibes, and it's not the lovely and upbeat Aunt Stephanie White is. On the sidelines, making plays that resemble her invisible ink game of Pictionary. Additionally, the offense is ambiguous. There is no vigorous defense. First, let's discuss Caitlin Clark. Thus, she battled once more in this game. She was 1 for 10 from 3 and 7 for 20 from the field, making her 1 for 17 in the last few games. If you're a fan of Caitlin Clark, you are aware of how different this is from her. Perhaps the greatest shooter is her. In the WNBA, and throughout the last 2 games, she has experienced a notable cold streak. However, her missing shots aren't really what irritates me. The one shot she missed during yesterday's game was what most troubled me. She had been missing a few shots, so if you were watching my live broadcast, I told you that she should keep going. Shooting. The only way for shooters to end a cold streak is to keep firing so the game becomes more and more. It's not coaching, but anarchy. Stephanie White stands there gesturing as if she's getting coffee in this interpretative dance. Every time Clark turns to face the bench, there is a loud drive-through that gives the impression that he is staring into space. Her game seems to be fading today, but it was once clear and electrifying. She passes a little bit late. She used to attack with reckless genius, but now her confidence is a little damaged and she is hesitating. Who wouldn't want to try, really? To play basketball at the highest level while constantly monitoring your. At this pace, are you back for flying elbows and your bench for evidence of intelligent life? She wants to go quickly at one point. The participants are engulfed in a fast-paced existential crisis as they attempt to determine which version of the strategy they're using. If any, Caitlin will need an exorcism, a sabbatical, or perhaps both, since what? It's not simply bad basketball that she's dealing with, it's psychological warfare. This league is designed to safeguard and raise its players rather than turn them to regret and dusty highlight clips. Rather, they are gradually depleting her. By a league that begged for her genius but was unable to cultivate it. Hold on, what did you say? Hold on, what? Stephanie, did you just tell me that? That's exactly what White said during his entire off-season interview trip. Stephanie, did you just tell me? Did White attend an interview? So why does this team appear to be unbeatable when Caitlin Clark plays poorly? Dog shit. Why does this team seem like complete garbage when Caitlin Clark isn't backpacking? I have a question for you, coach. Just a query. I feel terrible for everyone who had to endure what we witnessed today. Everyone who watched the Indiana Fever versus Las Vegas Aces for 2 hours and 25 minutes. We had to endure that, and I regret that. Was difficult to watch. She hasn't yet reached her sophomore year, which is the worst part. Stride quite yet. This is meant to be the glow of season, the big leap, the I know what I'm doing now stage. Rather, she is attempting to survive the Hunger Games with a bunch of mismatched teammates with a water gun. The league officials are out here playing Sudoku with the rules while the fan base is screaming for assistance. It's a generational talent trapped in a Groundhog Day remake, almost poetic in a tragic Shakespearean way, where Stephanie White never stops smiling and every game is just a mixture of despair and damaged ribs. Her way through press briefings, as though she's unlocked a parallel dimensional plan. In any case, what is this grand scheme that makes Caitlin a role player? We are only a few seconds away from White's attempt to rethink Clark as a defensive specialist because, to be completely honest, Caitlin Clark is unique. It's clear that squandering once-in-a-lifetime opportunities when there is confusion and 5-minute offensive droughts. The trendy new approach that has to be created is talent. Leave before they totally destroy her. Before she begins to doubt the very instincts that made her irresistible. Before she exchanges her fire for fatigue, until she awakens and discovers she's not spearheading a revolution but rather a dumpster burning with a side-mounted hoop. I believe that you need to take a rather holistic approach to the situation. In my opinion, Caitlin Clark is a very Diana Taurasi was a difficult player to officiate for a number of reasons during her career. In the entire court, Caitlin Clark is frequently picked up. Over the course of her career, she also receives more blitzes than any player from that era or throughout WNBA history. Additionally, she makes some offensive contact herself. Of the ground, it is quite challenging to officiate her. She must find a way out. The longer she takes to heal, the harder it will be for her to stays in this mental maelstrom. Indeed, this goes beyond simply losing games. T has to do with losing her identity. As a player, as the league watches helplessly, she is not your average player. People are watching because of her. Nevertheless, they are using her as a spare part in a team rebuild that is 20 years old and has a broken GPS. The fact that they launched every camera and sponsorship contract as soon as she turned is confusing.